Beard Wizard family, welcome back to Beard Wizard Reviews. I'm your host Zaymont, also known as Trevor or Beard Wizard Man. I'm hopefully, understandably, out of sorts currently. I've been away a few days. I may be hit or miss for the next few days. I clearly need to shave and anyway, some of you guys know that my dog Astinus was not doing so well over the last few weeks, and Friday we walked him through the veil to the next world where he can play in the sunshine and be happy for the rest of eternity. He's no longer suffering. He's no longer in pain. He's no longer confused or unable to see or unable to hear. So bear with me as I try to find my way in a very quiet house. Yeah. So I don't want to leave you guys without any content for a while. I'm feeling better today. I'm feeling okay. But I'm sure I'm going to be off my game for a little bit. Anyway, please be sure to subscribe. Make sure you click that red button and join the Beard Wizard family. Check out the Twitch streams. I will be getting back on that hopefully later this week, playing something. I don't know if it'll be Tarkov or Valheim or Sea of Thieves or something will be coming later in the week. But anyway, I did want to take a look at Dax's new song, Depression. I wanted to bring you something yesterday, but I had to stay at work late, and by the time I got home, I wasn't feeling it. Ed, yeah, thank you for being here. And yeah, it was, yeah, I haven't lost a dog. Bear with me. I haven't lost a dog since I was a very little kid. And even then she was gone in an instant. I had a dog when I was very little who was hit by a car and she was gone. After that, the dogs that we had in our lives after that passed when I moved out of the house. So I didn't witness the end of their lives. And so when my wife and I moved out and got our own place, we got a dog. We got a rescue from a local shelter. And he was 18 years ago. He was, we guess 19 and a half years old. Very old dog. So we've had him for a long time and hopefully gave him as good a life as he gave us. So anyway, we're going to take a look at Dax's Depression. So thank you guys for being here. If you're here with Ed, say hi in the live stream. If you're watching the recording, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Click the red subscribe button and join the Beard Wizard family. And here we go. We're going to take a look at this. We'll talk about the music, pause as necessary, and go from there. So here we go. This is Dax's Depression. Cheers.
I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed all them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days. Sometimes I sit and I reminisce about the good times. Wish I could get those back. I keep on running these races that go in my mind, and they go on these tracks. I'm not ready to erase all my memories. I fight depression and I let it get the best of me. Now there's nowhere to.
Yeah, Ed, I feel you. It's been a long weekend. My wife, we were both there. My wife held him. while while he passed, and yeah, it's been a long weekend. I like the video. Dax is doing something again a little bit different. He did with oh shoot, what's the song we reviewed a while back where he did crap, I cannot remember the name of the song he did. Was it Sober? Where it's really not rap. It's just singing, and he's got a very unique voice. I like the sound of his voice. I like the tone and timbre of his voice, and it works really well with this type of song. Now the guitar behind him, it's almost got a country feel, but not quite. And I think again that works with the song the story that he's delivering here. And the way he's going to lay this out is, I think, very important for people to pay attention to and to realize. I recently was in a conversation with somebody about how depression in men is handled differently, or is handled incorrectly, because it's handled the same as depression in women. And whether people want to admit it or not, men and women are different. We're different biologically and psychologically, emotionally. We need different things in our lives to be happy. And they were talking about how, when men go to therapy, when men go to see therapists or go to get counseling, oftentimes they're treated exactly the same way as that doctor would treat a woman, and that's not effective. And I think he's going to go into some of that here. If I remember right, I did listen to this earlier today. And but so far musically, I'm really liking it. I like the video. It's kind of setting up sort of a Truman Show-esque music video, which is kind of cool because it again fits that sort of being trapped while people on the outside are kind of seeing a facade. And that's in a way how people deal with depression, is they put on a face, they put on a mask, and other people are just sort of viewing that facade from the outside as if you're watching a show, in a sense. So very well played by Dax to make this a Truman Show type music video. I like that.
And then I let it get the best of me. Now there's nowhere to run, nowhere to go. Look around, there's liquor bottles all on the floor, filling up the space inside my heart and my home, drowning out these thoughts until they leave me alone. I can't find my...
Wow. The liquor bottles filling up the space in my heart. Not just the physical space in his home, all over the floor, but filling up the space in his heart. And I am not depressed, but I have and am currently going through a time in my life where I do look to self-medicate, and I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to candy coat it. When my mom passed, I drank more than I probably should have. When my dad passed, the same thing. And this has been a long weekend, since Friday. So the image or the analogy of putting or filling that hole in your heart with alcohol is so true. It's so poignant from Dax. So well done there.
Out these thoughts until they leave me alone. I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed all them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days.
Sorry to pause this so much. I know it hasn't been that long, but that's so true that we do that often. Men are notorious for pushing people away when we need help, when we should be reaching out. And that's why it's important to to do that. And we do it for various reasons. Some people do it because they feel ashamed, or they feel that they should be stronger. They feel they shouldn't have to open up, or can't open up. They don't trust that the people they open up to are going to understand or believe them or take them seriously. But yeah, that's so true. And it's so important to realize that, the people in your life, if they are suffering, they're often doing it in silence. And I'm going to make this analogies about, so the tough thing, and we're animals, so hopefully this relates, but the tough thing about dogs is when they're suffering, their natural instinct is to hide it. Because in the wild, an animal who is suffering, who is in pain, that shows it, is at risk. They're in danger. So that's why it's hard to know. We thought that our dog was in pain, but it was hard to tell because he hid it. Even that last day, he seemed like he was doing so much better than he had been other days, and it made it very hard. But we knew that it was only temporary. The people in your life who are suffering, especially the men in your life who are suffering, are often hiding it. They're pushing people away. They're taking the cards that have been dealt, and they don't think anything can change. That's extremely important to realize, and for Dex to put that in there, it's so important. I love that he wrote that in that way, the way he wrote that in. Again, sorry to keep pausing it, but this is an important topic, and it's personal for me, having seen people and know people who suffer depression, family and friends, and this is an extremely important topic.
I just pray for brighter days. These thoughts are draining all my energy. I try to tell them the God, they said I'm going insane, and then they recommended therapy. And I go and talk to a man who's getting paid to explain. He started saying that the chemical imbalance is the reason that my brain ain't connecting to accomplishments associated with moving on in life and past the things that my heart cannot contain, so the happiness won't sustain. And he read me my options. He said, here goes a pill, only take 2 at a meal, and it'll numb how I feel.
Right, see? They know.
I can't find myself.
The image of the men watching that, I think, is so telling and so vital to this topic, to this story. The men watching that scene with the doctor were clearly like, no, that's not right. Look, some people do need medication. Some people need things. They need things to help them deal with what's going on. But at the end of the day, and even recent studies are starting to show, and this is something to look into. Again, I am not an expert. I'm not a doctor. But there are studies that are starting to show that the idea that depression and serotonin levels are linked somehow seems to not be entirely accurate. And I will leave it up to you if you're interested to do your research, but look into recent studies about serotonin levels and depression, and it almost looks like they're prescribing pharmaceuticals for no reason whatsoever, except that they're getting paid to tell you that you need them. And I'm a big proponent of doctors having to reveal when they are getting kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies. I think that if I do a review of a book or a movie or a video game and somebody gives me money for that review, I am required to disclose that by law. I don't know why doctors aren't required to disclose that, but I don't know. Something to look into, something to think about. But yeah, the fact that he shows those men watching that clip kind of shaking their head and being doubtful about the whole situation makes a lot of sense.
I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed off them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days. Should I drown all these thoughts or should I leave them to float? I've got all of my flaws living inside of this boat. I've been anchored in pain, the weight is making me choke. It's getting harder to breathe, it's pulling right at my throat. I've been hoping for change but don't know how to restart. They say you ain't a man when you're exposing your heart. Then they say you insane until it tears you apart. And then it cuts you so deep and they can tell by the scars.
That part right there makes me so angry because that's so true. I don't know how many times I've seen people say that men need to open up to be healthy. Men need to express their feelings. They need to talk about what's bothering them. They need to stop bottling it up. And the minute somebody does, the minute a dude does, they're told to stop whining, to stop crying. Somebody shares that male tears meme, or recently they showed a study of loneliness among men, and some comedian with a blue freaking check mark on Twitter's like, oh, I don't know why it's society's problem to care. We don't care that men are lonely. Like, don't tell me out of one side of your damn mouth that we should open up and talk about our feelings, and then out of the other side of your mouth tells us to sit down and shut up because you don't care. That drives me, and it's so true, and it's why so many men, it's why the suicide rate among men is 4 times higher. That makes me so angry that is a true statement, and it makes me so angry that needs to be spoken about, and that people still don't see it, that people still don't share it and talk about it. Kudos to Dax for putting that in there, because that is an extremely important statement that people need to remember, that we cannot become healthy people when everybody out there is telling us to sit down and shut up because they don't care. If you don't care, then just go somewhere else and don't even bother. But then don't sit there and tell us that men are monsters if we don't open up and talk about our feelings. Because the minute we do, this is exactly how it comes out. It's exactly how we feel. Right there, Dax is saying exactly how we feel when people talk about us like that. Kudos to Dax. Sorry, that drives me nuts.
Until it tears you apart, and then it cuts you so deep and they can tell by the scars. We can only see change when we accept who we are. Try to run from the shame and you won't never get far. Don't you bottle the pain and live your life in the dark. You're meant to break from those chains and shine as bright as a star. Don't you ever tell yourself that your depression is the reason you won't make it, or that happiness is not in your cards. With our God, you can beat all the odds. Keep your faith and you'll never be lost, and say, I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help. But I pushed all them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days.
Yes. Yes. We have to tear ourselves out of that simulated reality that is presented to us on social media and in the media and in stories and movies and TV. Dear Alcohol, that's the other song I was thinking of. It's right there. Men should do what men need to do to be happy. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. If you need to reach out to somebody. If you are fine going to the gym, if that makes you feel better because it helps your, release of endorphins helps you feel better, do it. If opening up and talking to somebody, find somebody you trust and talk to them. Whatever it is it takes, but don't listen to society. Don't listen to what people tell you on social media. Don't listen to the stereotypes that we should be bottling things up and doing whatever it takes to just not bother people with our problems. Don't listen to that. And don't listen to, if you do open up, you're somehow weaker, or, don't cry because men don't cry. Tell you damn sure I've cried a lot this weekend. Ed knows what I'm talking about. If you got to do it, do it. But if you don't. Those people that said men have to cry. No, men don't have to. But if you need to, do it. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in reaching out for help. There's no shame in talking to people. And there's no shame in dealing with your feelings the way that it helps you feel good. Go to the gym. Go out and work in the yard. When I'm feeling bad, sometimes just going out and mowing the yard makes me feel better. If that's what it takes, do it. I don't care, but do something. But don't listen to the people that tell you that they don't care. Ignore those people. They ain't worth your time. Anyway, thank you guys. Ed, thank you so much for being here. Everybody else who was here, thank you so much. If you're watching, leave me a comment if you're watching the recording. Let me know what you think about this. I'm going to do my best to be on as much as possible for the next couple of weeks. But you guys know why it might be hit or miss. So thank you. I love you all. Thank you so much. See you soon. Much love.